Yo, what's good? Big Z here. Welcome to part 4 of the Mixing Masterclass. Congrats to the winner of the Mix and Master competition from this week. All you have to do is comment below to win a free Mix and Master by myself, and I'll announce the winner next week. So today we're going to be talking about mixing in synths and instruments. So here's what we have so far in the mix. So it doesn't sound like a lot, but today it's about to get real because we're about to mix in all the melodic elements of the track. Depending on your production, you can have a ton of synth layers and a ton of instrument layers. So this is where it can get really muddy and crowded. And the important thing here is to pick the most important synths and the most important instruments or the most important lead sound that you want to showcase in the mix, and then mix everything else behind that. You really have to think about what is important for the listener to hear and what's not so important that just provides support for that main part. So I'll show you what we're dealing with in terms of instruments here. So I'm going to count vocal chops also in this synth instrument category because it's a melodic element. So I'm just going to unmute these and show you what we have going on. So we have all these kind of background synths here. Then we have this groovy guitar on top of that. I'm definitely going to want that to be decently loud in the mix because it's kind of keeping the rhythm and groove of the whole track. And then we have the vocal chops, which provide the melody. So if we put it in order of importance, I'm going to put the vocal chops first, the guitar second, and then those background synths last. So let's start with the vocal chops here. I'm going to send this to my lead bus. I'm going to sidechain it to the kick. And I know I already compressed these in the production stage, but I'm going to add slightly more compression to them. I'm going to use, since they're kind of a vocally sound, I'm going to use Waves R compressor. I'm going to add in this vocal setting right here. Now I'm going to try to focus on the tone before I get to the reverb and delay. So the things to think about for these instruments and synths and vocal chops is really the space you're putting them in, which would be the reverb and delay. And then you can think about the tone of them, which you would do with EQ. And you can think about the width and other effects after that. So I think I can add some nice saturation at high end with FabFilter Saturn here. And I can also make the high end shine a little bit with this plugin. Let's see if there are any other harsh rogue frequencies in here. And then I know there's no vocal chops in our reference track, but let's just compare it to the level of the vocal in the drop so we can see how loud to put this vocal chop, because I would probably want to put it at a comparable level to a lead vocal at the forefront of the mix.
Can't let you go. I can't let it go.
So mine's way too quiet.
I can't go. I can't let it go. I can't let you go. No. I can't let it go.
Let's see how the tone is doing too.
I can't let you go. I can't let you go. No, I let you go. Let it go. I can't let you go. I can't let it go.
So we're taking out some of that boxiness in the mid-range. Now let's move on to the high end.
I can't let you go. I can't let you go. I can't let it go. I can't let you go. Let it go. Let you go. I can't.
Let's move on to the very high end. So that sounds good for now. Let's move on to the reverb and delay to start making this sound a lot bigger. So I'm going to send this to my reverb bus, my lead reverb bus, and my lead delay bus, which I already have set up. Then I'm going to send this to this bus called lead sidechain trigger. I'm going to make that pre-fader, go 0 decibels, and this bus has no output. I'm going to use that to sidechain the reverb to the lead signal. So if you've watched my videos before, you've definitely seen this, but after the reverb in the reverb bus, I have an EQ to shape the reverb, and then I have this FabFilter Pro C2 compressor to sidechain the reverb to the lead signal. Let's mute that for a sec and just focus on the delay. So I'm going to take those same sidechain compression settings and move that over to the delay bus. And here's the delay I'm using. I think I like the studio tape setting the best for this delay, and now I'm just going to hone in that level. So let's compare how it sounded before to how it sounds now. Now let's move on to the guitar. I think the guitar definitely has some harsh frequencies in the high end. I'm going to send this guitar to my synth bus, where I'm going to sidechain it to the kick. I'm going to mute the vocal chops for a second so I can focus in on the guitar. I'm going to send it to my short reverb bus, which is just a reverb with a short decay time I have. I'm going to add this transient designer in. Let's see what kind of harsh frequencies are going on. Now I know some of these frequencies are helping out the overall tone of the guitar, but those ones around like 4,000 hertz were just poking out too much. Now I know I already added a lot of processing, like I added a little distortion on the guitar, I added compression on the guitar. I did all of that during the production phase while I was working on the track, so it doesn't need that much. I might add a short little slap delay here. I just want that to be really low in volume. I know this shouldn't be part of this video, but I think my drums need a little something else. I'm going to go to my drum bus and see if I can boost some frequencies around here.
I'll let you go. Can't let you go, no. I can't let it go.
I think that one boost just added a lot of energy to those drums. Let's mix in the background synths now. So I'm going to go ahead and send all of these synths to my synth bus so I can sidechain them to the kick. Let's go over here. They're already sidechained in the synth. So let's just do one thing at a time here. I'm going to do the Rhodes chords first. They actually sound like they might have a little bit of reverb on them already, so I think I'm just going to mix in the volume for this one and do nothing else to it. And a good way to check levels is constantly mute and unmute something so you can hear how it's feeling to you. So that feels good right about there. Let's mix in this drop pluck, which is really just mirroring the guitar chords, I think. So these plucks are really just going to be supporting those guitar chords. Next up I have these stabs, which I actually probably don't want to be side chained to the kick at all so they hit harder. So I'm going to take them off of bus 7, my synth bus. I think that flute stab is a little too loud compared to that violin stab, so I'm just going to turn all of those flute stabs down a little bit using this gain function right here. Turn them down like 2 dBs maybe. I do want the drop to be pretty dry, so I'm not going to add any reverb to these. Next we have this ARP sound that's actually meant to go along with the bongos. You can hear what I mean when I solo them. So this ARP is really just providing some rhythm to the drop. Let's add in a little reverb and see how that sounds. Just that short room reverb. One thing you always have to focus on is if there's any rogue reverb tails, like at the end of the drop here. I really just want that to cut out right away, but you can still hear that reverb and delay, I think, from the vocal chops. So all I have to do for that is go to my lead bus, because I'm sending that delay and reverb to my lead bus. I'm going to add in this gain utility. I'm just going to gain automate that out. So that's good, but it's still coming from something else. It's coming from the synth bus too. I'm going to do the same thing for the synth bus. The synths are going to come back in right at this bar 38 here though, so I'm going to have to bring it back then. And that's when my break chords come in. So let's mix in these break chords and this atmosphere to finish it off. So there's already delay and a little bit of reverb on these break chords because I really liked how it's sounding when I produced it. So that's sounding pretty good for now. I'm definitely going to adjust some levels once the vocals come in to make everything fit with the vocals. So that's it for this part of the series. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be back next week with the next part. Have a great week. Peace.
You came into my life with a spark. You saved me with your light from the dark.